It's me and my homeboys in front of the White House. It's really taking, people from my neighborhood and taking them around the world and letting them see things that I've experienced.
Everybody in that picture is family, friends.
Yeah, it's one of the homies' kids, the people I grew up with since elementary, all the way up to now, So a lot of individuals that I talk about in Good Kid, Mad City it's on this cover. So it all spins around full circle when you really digest it.
And who's that laid out on the ground down there?
That's a judge laid out on the ground. You look at these individuals and you look at them as bad people or a menace to society, but they're actually good people, just a product of their environment. And the one person that always represent their lives negatively is the judge. Only God can judge these individuals right here. Not no one with a gavel, handing out football numbers of years and not giving these kids a chance at life. Every nigga's a star. It represents the album. It represents how I felt when I first got signed. Wesley's theory. That's the first initial state. You get money, you feel like this. But overall, in general, it represents those without money, of my color, that's rich in spirit. You don't need dollars to feel like you have a place in the world, as the album goes to 10, 11, 12 tracks. That's what it represents. The first half is a little bit ignorant, because that's how I was brought up. So as I see the world, it ain't really about the money, it's about how rich you are in spirit.
I would just like to give full disclosure before we get into this video that I am sick and possibly drugged up while doing this video. So anything I say or do, please take it with a grain of salt and don't judge me too harshly for what I'm about to say. But on the 10-year anniversary of Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, not only is it Kendrick Lamar's best album, I believe it is the greatest rap album ever created. And I say that in terms of it's important and it has everything that you would want from a timeless piece of art. The example that I like to bring up when I talk about To Pimp a Butterfly is the Book of Eli, where Denzel Washington's character had to travel across the country with the Bible because that Bible needed to be spread across the world because of its importance, because of its significance, because of what it made people think, and it gave people something to believe in. And I think that is what To Pimp a Butterfly is as a rap album. It is the album that if I had to bring it across the world or across the country for it to be duplicated and spread across the country to kind of explain what hip hop is, what music is, what black culture is, it would be this album. Like hands down. That's why I view it as the greatest rap album ever created. It literally has everything. There are hit records on this. There are anthems. There's storytelling songs. There's poetry. This album all throughout from beginning to end evokes some sort of emotion from you. There are themes throughout. The lyrics are hard. And at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to listen to somebody who has something to say. A lot of rappers, a lot of artists, a lot of writers will just fill out space, have empty spaces with just nothingness, with no substance, with nothing. And To Pimp a Butterfly doesn't have that. Every lyric, bar, chorus, poetry, stanza, everything matters. When it comes to the lyrics, I think this is the best writing and rapping of Kendrick's career, for taking both into consideration. Now, I think Mr. Morale was probably his best written album, and I think I would probably put Good Kid, Mad City as his best like actual rapping album. But this album is where he put both of those two skill sets, put them together, and did it at the highest level. There wasn't anything wasted. Everything mattered. From the production, the G-Funk with George Clinton, Thundercat. And I will say this, there are people who say this is a jazz album. If you're one of the people that thinks To Pimp a Butterfly has too much jazz on it, I'm going to say that you don't know what jazz is. I don't think you know exactly what jazz sounds like. I'm not saying there isn't any jazz, but it's very minimum for me. And then the features, I mean, showcasing one of the greatest rappers out currently of this generation with Rhapsody, to give her a platform to really shine and show how great of a writer that she is, and to have a West Coast legend and Snoop Dogg on your album is incredible, you know. And there weren't a bunch. Those are the only two rap features, and I always feel like when a rapper doesn't have a lot of rap features, I just assume it's because the artist has a lot to say and wants to get their vision off clearly. And I think that's exactly what Kendrick Lamar did on this project. Like, I listened to this and there's just not a lot of, if anything, I don't know if there's anything I can say about this album that would be a negative or that I don't like or that doesn't work. Like having the poem, I remember you were conflicted, you know, going and expanding that throughout the album and then finishing at the end with a Tupac interview, an unreleased Tupac interview, is something that we never get to hear without Kendrick Lamar's talent and his ear for finding these things and his West Coast connections. And I will say this in closing about this album. This is the album that, if I ask you what you think about To Pimp a Butterfly, depending on what your answer is, will determine how I view your opinions on music going forward.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.